Furious over his recent losses, the echoes of malice caused Onibi to reappear, drawn by their hatred. The wind god Hujin revealed an altar knowing the ghost needed aid. The altar granted the ghosts a blessing in the form of Hujin's wind catcher. It could be used to gather nearby Onibi, and then hurl them at an object, such as an echo of malice. The Onibi cleansed the echo of malice, but there were more ahead. The ghosts continued onward, hoping the path would lead them to the Oni's enforcers. More of the Oni's followers appeared. The ghosts realized they needed to turn against them. There were many echoes of malice in this village. A massacre took place here. The ghosts needed to cleanse the echoes and rid the village of the Oni's followers. With the echoes of malice cleansed and the Oni's followers defeated, a path opened before the ghosts. They hoped it would take them to the Oni's enforcers. The ghosts continued, eagerly awaiting their chance to bring the Oni's enforcers to justice. The ghosts arrived at a quarry, intent on tracking down the Oni's enforcers. Once again, they followed the trail made by the echoes of malice. The ghosts were ambushed by a malevolent spirit unlike. It eluded the ghosts' attacks. They suspected that Onibi could be anchored in place, using Onibi from the ghosts made their way into the quarry, but the Oni's enforcers were nowhere to be seen. However, there were still plenty of enemies to deal with. As the ghosts approached an outpost, they sensed a new presence. It had to be one of the Oni's enforcers.
Your day!
The ghost brought one of the Oni's enforcers to justice, but more remained, including their captain. The captain, he would not go down easily. The ghosts arrived at a fortress held by the captain of the Oni's enforcers. They would use the Onibi once again to cleanse the echoes of malice and defeat the remaining enforcers. The fight to clear the courtyard drew out the ghost's prey. The captain of the Oni's enforcers finally showed his face, and the battle to destroy him began.
Make sure your death is paid. I will make sure your death is paid. I will make sure your death is paid. For vengeance!
One ghost remained. The ghost fell. With the captain of the Oni's enforcers cut down, all echoes of malice removed, the Onibi were drawn elsewhere. The ghosts stripped away the Oni's power and protections bit by bit. Soon they would face the Oni himself. With the Oni's enforcers defeated, the ghosts picked up the As they neared the general's outpost, the ghosts came under attack from a fire spirit. Fortunately, Lai Jin granted them the gift of his storm. It would protect them from the fire spirit's attacks. Fire spirit was vulnerable up close. More fire spirits battered the ghosts with blazing bombs. Fortunately, Lai Jin's storm continued to protect them. An echo of malice blocked the ghosts' path. The wind god Hu Jin saw the ghosts' need and granted them his gift once again. They could use Hu Jin's wind catcher to gather Umbi and use them to cleanse the echo of malice.
Something there? Your hate is Completely outmatched! Someone's after us! Some time to die!
The ghosts cleared the outpost, but the Oni's general was nowhere to be seen. The wind urged the ghosts further up the hill. As they pressed forward, the ghosts encountered a deadly nuke that wielded only as a weapon. The Oni's general had evaded the ghost for now. If the Oni's general wasn't at his outpost, then he was likely at the Oni's castle. The ghost stormed the Oni's castle, determined to vanquish the Oni's general. Echo of malice blocked their way into the courtyard. Once again, Kujin's windcatcher would clear the way. The general was determined to stop the ghosts and sent more of the enemy's followers to block their path.
Someone, let's see you fight!
The ghosts were victorious, but the Oni's general was nowhere to be found. There was still one place the ghosts hadn't looked. A small homestead long thought abandoned. A path opened that would take the ghosts there. The ghosts arrived at their destination. The otherwise unremarkable homestead was covered with Onibi. The Oni's general had to be here.
Nothing can sever my bond of fealty to the Oni. In life, I trained them to trained them to become life. I trained them to become brave. In death, I'll slaughter any who seek harm.
A single ghost remained. Like the malevolent spirit the ghosts faced before, the Oni's general proved nearly impossible to strike. Only be from Hujin's windcatcher would anchor him in place and give the ghosts a fighting chance.
Back in the fight!
The Oni's general fell, and the Onibi finally left the realm of the living. Now, the ghosts were ready to strike their killing blow against the Oni himself. The ghosts arrived at the Oni stronghold, ready to avenge all who suffered under his rule. Hujin's Windcatcher and Laijin's Storm were both granted to the ghosts to aid them in their task. guarded. Reaching the Oni would be a challenge the ghosts were eager to face. The ghosts defeated the Oni's guards, but the castle's main entrance was sealed. They needed to find another way in. A graveyard to the side of the castle was filled with malevolent spirits. Perhaps they guarded another way into the stronghold. An echo of malice blocked the way forward. It needed to be cleansed using Oni captured by Hujin's wind catcher. The ghost entered the first courtyard, only to find it filled with the Oni's corrupted Teru Bosu. They needed to remove it before on the ghosts as they advanced. The fire spirits were deadly from afar, but vulnerable up close. The path to the Oni was blocked with countless Oni beams. The ghosts had to find a way through. Now all that stood between the ghosts and their prey was an echo of malice. Fortunately, there were plenty of Onibi nearby to cleanse it. The path to the Oni was clear.
I hear you seek vengeance for when I killed you. You will not find it.
The Oni stood before the ghosts. They were eager to exact their vengeance.
Taste my wrath! Well done! Incinerate you all! you for this.
The Oni's vile flame was finally extinguished. The ghosts had their vengeance, and the lands controlled by the demon was